Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome. This is PRM522 Best Practices in Project Management, and this is meeting 4. All right, so kudos to all. You are in the uh, final tag of the race, and so you are approaching the finish line. And so we hope that you have found the course beneficial. So let's go ahead and touch upon some of those key elements that should hopefully get you through the last 2 modules. So let me go ahead and get started. All right, so a couple of things. We have different people, although we have a small course, a small class, I should say. We have different people at different stages, and so that's okay. As I noted before, and many of you have taken my class before, so you know my teaching style. We have a stressless environment. We try our best to reduce that by organization and flexibility. And so check your gradebook to see where you have any outstanding assignments or rework opportunities, resubmissions, things of that nature, and plan accordingly. Balance your time. Balance your time with your outstanding assignments and things of that nature, and see if you can find a reasonable balance. Okay. Where there may be extra credit opportunities to offset maybe a complex item that you don't have time to address, choose that, okay? But you figure out what works best for you. If I find when we get to the end of the course that you've not been able to complete all the assignments, but you are eligible for some sort of incomplete, then we will certainly make that available to you. Okay, and as I noted earlier, probably in the beginning, I'll go ahead and restate it again. There are no team assignments in this term, so where there may have been a team assignment, we'll simply offset that with any points that would be representative of your team member's contribution. Okay, all right, so let me go ahead and move on. All right, so as you know, we're doing case analysis, and so that means our assignments have mostly what we call a situational analysis approach, where we kind of take a quick glimpse into a given corporation or company to see what's going on. And so the author will present, if you will, some background information, and then they'll present the issues that are present within the company. And based on your readings and your knowledge and your own interpretation of the situation, you can make some statements, projections, if you will, as you answer the discussion questions on what do you think would be the right approach based on the best practices, foundational knowledge, and again, your perspectives on the situation. Okay, and so that's what we've been doing, and we'll continue that for the last 2 units. Okay, so in this particular scenario, you get an opportunity to select the company. We do not present the company for you. In this best practices portfolio, you select a company of your choosing. Could be your own company, could be a company that you like to work for, maybe one you've been following, or whatever the situation is. Could be one that you worked for in the past. But nonetheless, you get to identify the company and you get to speak on the merits of their ability to demonstrate best practices within their industry. Okay, and so this will give you a lot of flexibility to look at and assess where you think some people have done a good job, gotten it right. You know, they've been able to excel in areas of either leadership, operational efficiency, um, quality, whatever you think the best practices that they possess and they're able to master. And you identify that and you give us some feedback, if you will, on how they accomplish that in your assignment. Okay. Now, again, within the assignment, you are asked to again highlight St. Leo University core values and responsible stewardship. Okay, and so you should look at those things as you are developing, if you will, your paper on best practices for your selected company. All right, so go ahead and get started on that when time permits. Because again, I said we've got different people at different stages, and so we're not competing. Rather, we're allowing the students to flexibly complete their assignments based on their own personal bandwidth. Okay. All right, and then in Module 8, we've got a final exam coming up. And so here's a quick glimpse. You've got 4 essay questions that you're going to be responding to. And so, you know, my policy, as indicated earlier, remember quality, not quantity. So keep that in mind as you are responding to those essay questions. And again, be thoughtful of the guidance that was either given to you by the PMBOK, the Book of Knowledge, or Kersner, okay? Because many of the questions are going to be taken directly from, if you will, perspectives or concepts that were presented in either one of those documents. Okay, and I believe that's it. Just keep in mind that this course was designed to highlight, if you will, the best practices that exist within within the project management industry. To help you understand as you move forward into preparation for possibly sitting for the PMP certification, or just in the application of these techniques in your own personal organizations, how you can help the company be more effective, utilizing good communication, good processes, good leadership skills, um, good quality techniques and things of that nature. As you get into Module 8, you'll be reading about Six Sigma. And so Six Sigma is all about helping people understand how we achieve quality through the use of specific tools that demonstrate consistency. Okay, and so what happens is that you define a process, and then once you define that process, and actually, let me pause for a moment before you even define a process, because when we say you define a process, what you're really doing is restating a process. And so what you really should start at is you examine your own company. You sort of do, if you will, a kind of business needs assessment, but you do it from the standpoint of a SWOT analysis, because you're examining, if you will, different departments, different procedures that exist within a company to determine what things that we perform well, what things where we may not perform as optimally as we might like. Maybe we don't address those things as effectively as we would like, and where we have some opportunities, okay, where we got some threats, okay, we've got some areas where we could really tighten up so that we don't fall or succumb to external pressures, or even our own internal dilemmas where we have rework and missed opportunities, miscommunication, things of that nature. And so what happens is you look at, if you will, your various departments or your various work processes to identify those things, and then you define, if you will, based on those scenarios, a better process, gleaming, if you will, the areas that you performed well in the previous or the old work format. And then you bring in, if you will, new, more efficient techniques into the new format. And so you merge, if you will, the old with the new to come up with your new process. And then you test this process, if you will. And you run some data through this, and you'll take it through several, if you will, iterations to figure out, based on the capabilities and the perceived performance level of the process, the spectrum of potential outcomes. Okay, and when we say the spectrum of potential outcomes, that means that we live in an imperfect world, and so there will be instances where the process will work optimally, and there will be instances where it will not. Okay, and so you have, if you will, a dispersion. It's like a scatter graph. You have a dispersion, if you will. And at some point, you'll be able to, based on, again, you're going to run some test data through it, but at some point, based on that dispersion, you'll be able to clearly define, well, we think based on the data, if we look at the midpoint, the median of where most of our outcomes fall, and then we take it, if you will, based on the naming convention, which obviously explains why we have Six Sigma, 3 data points to the left and 3 data points to the right, or if you want to call it 3 up, 3 down, you will have, if you will, where you feel to be the upper and lower control points for a process. And so that means that generally, anything that falls within that range is what you might consider normal behavior for that process. And where you have outliers and consistent demonstration of outliers, that means that there's some volatility in that process. Something has occurred, some stimulus has occurred that's causing it not to perform as intended. And so that's where you need to interject and then pause and figure out what's going on so that you can again bring your particular procedure back to a level of stability or normalcy so that you can move forward. And so um, as I indicated earlier, you're going to get an opportunity, if you will, and to kind of peruse through Six Sigma to see how that level of guidance helps helps companies achieve their goals as it pertains to operational efficiency, so that they can achieve their larger goals as it pertains to maybe revenue or greater performance or whatever it might be. Okay, and so you'll get an opportunity to kind of peruse that as you go through Module 8 in preparation for not only the final exam, but just understanding more around best practices within project management industries. Okay, so we hope again that you found the course beneficial. Again, it pulled from a wide variety of experiences from several different companies. And even though the textbook might be a little bit dated, you will find that the reason why it's still around is because it's very valuable. It's sort of like one of those teaching gems, just like the Challenger Space Shuttle Challenger case study. That one is still around and it's used in a wide variety of universities for a reason, because it's a teaching gem. Even though it is an unfortunate disaster, it is a teaching gem because it encompasses so many different issues and it allows you to decompose that. You can unpack that thing and you can look at how poor communication, how lack of process, how political, internal and external political battles, if you will, power battles, can really cause unfortunate outcomes within a situation. And so that's why the course exists, and that's why those case books were selected, because they are, provide, if you will, a solid foundation of information, educational experience regarding dynamics within project management. So again, I hope you found all of this beneficial, and I'm sure you're looking forward to the next course, which is your capstone, PRM 524. So enjoy. Bye-bye.